Stories have always been associated with movies, novels, or entertainment. But is there some space for stories in business as well? Yes, of course. Because work is not just about facts, figures, and PPTs. A lot happens at our workplaces. We go through a lot of emotions like fear, joy, frustrations, happiness, success, and failures. Business storytelling focuses on the human side of our work. If you have ever been charmed by a speaker, chances are that he or she told you a story. Storytelling is something that they are not born with. It's a skill that they have developed. They have built their storytelling muscles through constant application of some very simple ideas. Today, I'm going to share a very simple framework for storytelling. I call it
The 5C framework.
the first C stands for the context. The context is that umbrella element that tells the audience when and where the story is taking place. So you can begin your story with an opening that sets the context. For example, when I was in my 6th grade, my family moved from Mumbai to Pune. On January 28, 1986, NASA's Space Shuttle Challenger exploded. In 2019, when we were preparing to launch our range of ergonomic furniture, the second C stands for the characters. Characters provide the critical, indispensable human element to the story that helps the reader relate to the story. How these characters look, feel, and behave adds life to the story. Their dialogues make them come alive as real and palpable. And finally, characters provide the verbal mood for the story through their conversations. The third C stands for the conflict. Conflict develops when the characters interact with one another or the circumstances. Conflict creates suspense and builds up anticipation. Conflict is the throbbing heart of your story that takes your audience on an emotional roller coaster because it keeps them thinking what's going to happen next. The fourth C stands for the climax. As the conflict progresses, it leads us to the climax. And the climax can leave the audience on a happy ever after note, a moral, a message, or even a question. And depending on the climax, your story can be a tragedy or a comedy. So you told a story and entertained your audience. What next? And this is where you need the fifth C. Yes, connect. Make sure to connect your story to the point you are trying to make. Now, I'm going to tell you a story. Pay attention to all the C's and notice how all of them come together to make a brilliant story. 3M is considered to be the world's most innovative company. In 1968, a scientist named Spencer Silver was trying to develop an ultra-strong adhesive that could be used in aircrafts. Instead, he accidentally developed a weak adhesive. This adhesive stuck lightly to any surface, but did not bond strongly with them. Silver thought and thought really hard that there must be some application of this weak adhesive, but could not think of any. For 5 years, Silver struggled to find an application for his invention. He touted the merits of his invention to his colleagues. In fact, he came to be known as Mr. Persistent because he would not give up. But the management at 3M did not find any value in his invention. Meanwhile, Art Fry, a chemical engineer working at 3M, was having frustration of a different kind. Every Wednesday night, while practicing with his church choir, he used to use little scraps of papers as bookmarks to mark the hymns they were going to sing. But by Sunday, he would find that they had all fallen out of the book. Actually, he needed a bookmark that would stick to the pages without damaging the paper. He instantly thought of Silver's weak adhesive that Silver had talked about in one of his internal presentations. And this was a eureka moment for Art Fry. He partnered with Silver and began developing a product that could somehow be used. And soon they came up with small sheets of paper that had a strip of adhesive coating at their back. Fry decided to use the 3M office for his experiment. He supplied these sticky notes abundantly to all the staff members. And they began using these sticky notes for communicating messages. In fact, they all loved them. In 1977, when the company launched them in 4 cities, it hardly received any positive response. But the very next year, the company came up with a heavy sampling campaign. The campaign was a runaway success, and 90% of the customers who were sampled ordered for the product. It became a self-advertising product because the customers would put these post-it notes on the documents they would send, and the recipients would get curious. They would peel them off and play with them for a while and finally hoard them. And the rest is history. Today, post-it notes are the most common stationery item in any office. Even though Post-it notes is an amazing success story, but what we should not forget is that it took the inventors more than 10 years to get the internal support. And sometimes we may not get instant market response, but our belief in its value can inspire us to stay rooted for it. As a speaker, your job is not just to share information or data. Your job is to share information in a way that engages, inspires, and moves people to action. Isn't that what you want? Because facts speak to our minds, but stories speak to our hearts. If you are a business leader regularly communicating with your teams, your clients, and your stakeholders, our corporate storytelling workshop, Storycraft, can help you.
Hi, got to attend this really wonderful training by Roshan. It was crisp, clear, and very helpful.
Just wrapped up a wonderful session with Roshan. It's been a highly enlightening.
I've just completed my session with Roshan. I think he's a great trainer.
Attending a wonderful session by Roshan. Thoroughly enjoyable session.
There was never a dull moment, and yes, I would definitely recommend this program to others, especially if it is conducted by Roshan.
Storytelling can boost a business in a number of ways, like customer satisfaction, marketing strategy, or employee engagement. If that's what you want, I think we should work together. See you soon.